From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight, a high-speed head-on collision near mile 12 of the Parks Highway ended with only minor injuries for one driver this morning. Alaska State Troopers say a man traveling south in his Honda lost control and hit a Dodge Nitro head-on. Now, the only injury reported was a minor hand wound to the Honda driver. Trooper Edwin Carlson says the Honda owner is being cited for the accident. Both vehicles were deemed too damaged to drive. Carlson adds the cause of the accident was due to high speeds and icy road conditions.
We would just ask that you just slow down, even though the speed limit says 55 miles per hour. Sometimes maybe you have to do 40 or 35. Just because the speed limit says 55 or whatever the area road is. If you go slower, it's safer and you get to your destination in one piece.
North Pole has become the first area municipality to approve pot-related measures. The North Pole City Council approved 2 ordinances last night pertaining to marijuana. One ordinance, which outlaws the flammable extraction of marijuana oils in the city, was passed through consent. However, the second went to a vote. Jamie Schwartzwald has more on last night's meeting.
How do we know that I'm smoking marijuana right here? Or the fact that I'm holding my breath? I'm not.
Councilman Thomas McGee has been a critic of the ordinance that bans the public use of marijuana within North Pole city limits. It's not that he wants to see folks doing bong rips on city sidewalks. He's more concerned that people may be falsely accused of publicly smoking weed, as there are several ways to ingest cannabis.
And there's so many different products out there that how can an individual know specifically if that person is consuming marijuana or not? And if they don't know, the false accusations that can come about.
McGee cast the lone no vote in a 6-1 decision to ban marijuana use in 16 places considered public within North Pole city limits. He offered an amendment to strike businesses from that list, an attempt that failed. Councilwoman Elizabeth Holm offered an amendment of her own, which read,
"To ensure consumption is not a visual or odorous nuisance or anything that interferes with the mental tranquility to neighboring properties."
The amendment failed to gain traction as a portion of its language was deemed unconstitutional. The ordinance was passed as presented, and those caught smoking pot in public will face a $100 fine. City Mayor Bryce Ward, who sponsored the legislation, says it accomplishes the primary goal.
I think the ordinance does a pretty fair job of doing that, spelling out the different places where it's prohibited, where it is allowed, which is on your private property. And that we're simply just concerned about nuisances.
Marijuana has been here for as long as I've been in Alaska and has been all over the United States as long as I've been alive. The education to find out that this is not reefer madness, instead of intimidating people with more laws, accept the voter's choice and abide by it.
A trial date has been set in the case of a former girls hockey coach. 32-year-old Tara Layton is charged with 5 counts of sexual abuse of a minor. The original 2012 indictment was recently reinstated by the Alaska Court of Appeals after a Fairbanks judge was deemed to have been in error. Layton, who has been out of jail since 2012 on bail, appeared in court this afternoon under the supervision of her court-appointed third-party custodian. Now, according to court documents, Layton is accused of abusing a minor she coached in 2004. Alaska State Troopers say Layton was 22 at the time of the alleged abuse and the victim 14. But troopers didn't receive a report of the incident until nearly 4 years later. Trial for her case is scheduled for May. Officials with the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District are holding meetings across Fairbanks to provide information to parents about upcoming budget cuts. The district is anticipating a near $8 million shortfall in the 2015-16 school year's budget. According to officials, over 87% of the annual budget is allocated towards personnel costs. Due to the cuts, the shortfall will be reportedly addressed through personnel reductions. Partnered with Fairbanks Council of PTAs, the district will provide an overview of these proposed cuts and more information on the upcoming budget issues. The meetings are scheduled to be held at the District Administrative Center on February 21st, Tanana Middle School on February 23rd, also at North Pole Elementary School March 5th.
The board and the administration are really passionate about making sure that the community is aware of the financial situation that we're in and where the proposals are to make reductions. Budget presentations will give that opportunity to parents and community members to come out and listen to where we are right now and where we're going to be next year.
For more information on these presentations, including times, you can visit our website, webcenter11.com. When we come back, the Interior is preparing for military officials to arrive next week to discuss potential reduction in troops locally. Also, the ice park is coming up. We'll see what new creations, especially for the kids, they have as the World Ice Art Champions begin. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Fbx Evening News. With U.S. involvement in world conflicts decreasing and budget reductions mandated by Congress, the Army is considering cuts at 30 installations, both overseas and in the lower 48. Fort Wainwright in Fairbanks is one of those on the list and could lose several thousand troops if the proposed cuts are approved. Military officials from Washington, D.C. will be in Fairbanks next week to hold a hearing on the proposed reductions. Addressing the state legislature today, U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski said that with all that's going on in the world, this is not the time to be cutting the military.
Our world is extraordinarily volatile right now. So for us to be talking about this, at the same time we're looking at an AUMF against ISIL, at the same time that the U.S. needs to build up its capacity in the Pacific, at the same time as North Korea remains a threat to global security, and at the same time that Russia is asserting itself militarily in the Eastern European area as well as in the Arctic. This is not the time that we need to be doing the downsizing.
It's that time of year again when the property at the end of Phillips Field Road, adjacent to the Johansson Expressway, is transformed into an icy wonderland. Ice Alaska will be opening their gates to the public next Monday as the 2015 World Ice Art Championships get underway. 16 countries from all over the world will begin their single block sculpture contest, to be followed the next week by the multi-block competition. This year, the park will offer more sculptures for the kids and a number of unique creations in general, including a parabolic ice lens, underwater sculptures, and a magnificent presentation stage, just to name a few.
Single block will start the 23rd. That's Monday at 9 a.m. It'll finish Wednesday evening at 9 p.m. The artists have 2.5 days. They can work around the clock, and based on their piece, once it starts, they have until the clock sounds at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. We've got 37 teams in the single block from all over the world. We've had some great response from the people coming here to Fairbanks to participate in the 2015 BP World Ice Art Championships.
Cope North is a trilateral large force exercise hosted by Pacific Air Forces to promote regional security and stability of the region. Monty Bowen takes a look at the exercise in this week's military report.
Traveling from Alaska to Hawaii and Guam sounds like a lot of fun, but traveling there with over a dozen F-16 fighters and more than 150 maintainers is a lot of work. Eielson Air Force Base's 18th Aggressor Squadron prepared to deploy as part of exercises Sentry Aloha and Cope North. It's a total team effort from the maintenance crews to the pilots to ensure the joint forces and allied nations are well trained in aerial warfare.
Our maintainers make sure that the aircraft are safe to fly. The pilots flying the red air are actually training those allied units, preparing them for combat to make sure that the mission is effective.
Transferring tools and equipment needed for maintenance can be a challenge logistically. The originally scheduled departure was delayed, but eventually the mission was a go.
Today we didn't launch because of winds and waves greater than 10 feet or 25 knots. Rolex that 24 hours to try it again, and no change to the winds or waves. So finally there on Saturday there was enough of a break that based on operational risk management, the OG commander and the Aggressor Squadron commander both said this is within our risk to launch.
Combined, the aggressors were to fly more than 400 sorties during the training. This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Military Report is brought to you by Stanley Nissan. Innovation for all.
Joe Cook is next with sports. He has some very good news about a UAF hockey player named Justin Woods. Also, the Iron Dog starts this weekend. He has more about that. So those stories are next with Joe.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the Sports C4 with your Wednesday Hump Day Sportscast. One signature Alaskan race is wrapping up the Yukon Quest, while another one starts this weekend. The Iron Dogs start Saturday with a ceremonial start in Anchorage for the 2031-mile race. The restart is Sunday in Big Lake. Then the race goes to Nome. Then to Fairbanks. 37 pro class teams will compete this year for a record purse and prizes worth over $250,000. Team Todd Minnick and Nick Alstead are back to defend their 2014 title. Tyler Huntington and Todd Palin, that team, they're Team 11. They're sponsored by our local players, Outpost Alaska. They will be contenders. The legend, Scott Davis, he will try to become the first man to win 8 Iron Dog titles. And if you want more Iron Dog, watch the pre-race show this Saturday at 3:30 right here on Channel 11, produced by our sister station, KTUU. Today, the next swim team starts competition in the Pacific Collegiate Swim and Dive Conference Championships. Conference runs through Saturday in La Mirada, California. Now today, the 200 medley relay team of Victoria and Margot Adams, Martha Hood, and Nye Nguyen repeated as conference champions, winning the relay in 1 minute 42.25 seconds, just 3/100ths of a second off a new program record. Division I Loyola Marymount is back in the same conference championships this week as UAF. Now last season, Alaska finished 3rd overall, their best finish ever at the conference championships. The ASAA State Championships and Nordic Skiing begin Thursday on the Kincaid Park Trails in Anchorage. The South Anchorage Wolverines are the defending champions, sweeping the titles last year. This year, the Wolfpack, repeated as Region 6 champs as senior Jesse Mayo won his first region title to lead 9 Wolfpack in the top 10. And in the girls division, the Wolverines are the 2-time defending champions. The Wolfpack are led by Jenna DeFalco, who repeated as Region 6 champion this year. Their last state title as a team was in 2012. Head coach Greg Wisenhant believes his team, though, is deep enough to make a run.
We have a lot of depth to the West Valley team for the boys. We have almost 3 times as many boys as we have girls. I think that we'll probably be able to put a very competitive team together to take the state. We ended up getting 2nd last year. I think that we can probably be right around that place again, or maybe better. Who knows? We'll have to see.
A few local curlers are doing well on the national stage. Vicky Persinger of Fairbanks is in the Aylan Sormunian rink in the USA Curling National Championships in Kalamazoo, Michigan. They are in a 3-way tie for first place with a 7-1 record. Now, Greg Persinger and Matt Berklet, also from Fairbanks, they are in 7th place in the men's division in the Brady Clark rink. They won 3 of their last 4 games, however, including one against a 3rd place team. The playoffs start Thursday, and this event is a qualifier for the Women's World Championships in Japan and the Ford Men's World Championships in Nova Scotia starting in March. It's Hockey Week in Fairbanks, and tonight we highlight an event that brings some very special athletes together. Our new reporter Mike Fussell has the story.
Heated hockey rivalries don't often come packaged with warm laughs and cross-team encouragement, but when the Alaska Nanooks took on Fairbanks' Special Olympics floor hockey team for their annual matchup, smiles met to face off. The Hockey Week event has been going on for more than 4 years now, and it's always highly competitive. UAF defenseman J.D. Peterson says this year's contest was just as tough as any.
It was fierce. They're a good squad. They're good. They brought it, and I'm just glad that our team, we rallied together and we came out with a win there.
The competitive spirit of both teams was on full display. The game even ended up going into overtime. Special Olympian Connor Cassidy says the close score made for an exciting time.
I just like playing really hard against the Nanooks. And trying to steal the puck and stuff like that. Well, it was great. It was really fun.
But for many, the day was about more than just the sport of hockey. President of the Fairbanks Hockey Hall of Fame, Randy Zarnke, says the match is a great way to bring people together throughout the town.
Hockey Week is not just about the 5 best players from each team on the ice with sticks and pucks. It's a whole variety of activities to kind of appeal to everybody throughout the community. This was just a natural fit for us because it brings the community and the university together.
This camaraderie is something the Nanooks say comes full circle. The more they give back to fans, the more support they get. Reporting from Barnett Magnet School, I'm Mike Fussell.
Always a good story and a good time there. Now, last night, some very good news was announced. Justin Woods, sophomore UAF defenseman and West Valley product, is cancer-free. Woods was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma last May, and he has been battling the disease in Seattle Children's Hospital over the past several months. He recently finished his last round of chemo. And this photo is from Justin's Facebook page, joined by his nurse, Kristen Gard, and surgeon Chappie Conrad. He is expected to return to Fairbanks very soon, so we're all very happy for Justin beating cancer. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Welcome back, everyone, to our Wednesday night newscast. Mike Schultz with you once again talking weather. Did you see the northern lights last night? Putting on a great show all over the sky. Really beautiful. I'm sure we'll be getting some more photographs of those in the days to come. But tonight, our photograph is a beautiful color. As you can see, the richness in this William Blizzard. Oh, great name. I still think he should be a weatherman with that name. His clouds retreating. He got this shot not too far away from the ski land area. As you can see, once again, beautiful colors. And we always get great sunsets here in the Fairbanks area. Photos at KTBF11.com. If you have one you want to share, by all means, send it. Our numbers look like this. 20 degrees currently after a high of 21. Below last night, 12. Our record high, 40 degrees. That was set in 1911. 50 below in 1937. Sunrise and sunset, about 8 hours and 46 minutes. That's a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. What's going on our satellite and radar? Again, you can see the clouds are starting to thin out a little bit. We're getting a little more clearing over the southeastern sections. So there's still some heavy cloudiness there. But the west is not nearly as bad as they're expecting. They were looking at a winter storm conditions yesterday, but now it looks like things are just not nearly as intense as they were expecting. That's good news, I guess, except you need more snow for the Iditarod, obviously. But the folks in Nome are getting about 4 to 6 inches. It's not too bad. Well, elsewhere across the state, you can see we're looking at a little shower activity around Ketchikan, some mixed rain and snow at Juneau, a few showers around Kodiak, nice day in Anchorage, 32 degrees, freezing there. Along the Aleutian chain, not too bad, 38 at Cold Bay. Nome about 24 degrees, Barrow at 4 above, how about that? And Fort Yukon at 14 degrees above zero with some scattered snow shower activity. Lower 48 weather. The rains have returned to the Pacific Northwest, 53 degrees at Seattle. Nice day in Las Vegas. Not too bad in Denver, 47 degrees there. Elsewhere across the northern plains, a little bit of a respite from the real cold temperatures, although Chicago, 8 degrees. That's pretty darn chilly for them. 31 degrees and a little more light snow in the New York area. On the satellite and radar, again, you can see that jet stream really well defined, just taking a big dive down to the south. Again, helping to pull all that cold air in from Canada, and it's working its way in from Siberia, and then working its way on down into the lower 48. What it all means is another storm system that is expected to bring more snow to the folks in the Northeast, unfortunately, Friday and Saturday night. And another ice storm is possible all the way from the deep south into the, into the Pittsburgh and Philadelphia areas. So not too good weather there. The jet stream is changing a little bit. It's still pulling down that cold air, but it's kind of spreading it out a little bit in the long range for over the weekend. So rain is expected, not cold enough for snow, and a mix of rain and snow possibly over the Northeast. Well, nice weather is expected to return to the West Coast. All right, back to Alaska for tomorrow. For the northern sections, scattered snow showers for Barrow, snow at Nome, and cloudy skies in the Fort Yukon area. Here in the interior, another nice day expected, just scattered clouds for Fairbanks. Partly cloudy skies for Healy and Delta Junction. While over the southeastern sections, it looks like dense morning fog with rain for Juneau, and once again, more rain likely in the Ketchikan region. Over the southwest part of the state, rain at Cold Bay, periods of snow in Bethel, and partly cloudy for Kodiak, so a real mixed bag of weather there. And over the south central sections, it looks like for the most part, partly cloudy skies for Anchorage and Homer, with mixed rain and snow showers in the Valdez region. All right, time once again for our weather fact for this week, as the kids are getting a break. And our weather fact is happening in the year 1990. The Grand Canyon in Arizona had a winter storm, dropped more than a foot of snow. That's not very often that happens. It was on the southern rim. And again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. And speaking of the kids, well, we're going to be visiting once again with the kids from Weller Elementary School next week. So here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 1 degree below zero, partly cloudy, a little colder. Watch for more auroras. Tomorrow's forecast, 24 degrees, partly cloudy, and continued mild. And the extended forecast, still looking at warmer temperatures right on through the weekend into the first part of next week. Maybe some light snow over the weekend, possibly, but nothing really heavy expected. The key word is warm temperatures. Once again, very mild. Overnight lows 15 to 16 above for the overnight lows. That's incredible for this time of year.
Wow, Mike. Okay, thanks. Now that'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we're glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, the eastern U.S. is bracing for potentially record-breaking cold. That's up next with Lester Holt.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webster11.com.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.
Good night.